So, welcome, and we're very excited about this. This is our very first podcast for Pj&C, for Pajamas and Coffee Society. And we wanted to start out today by just having a discussion between the two of us that was our why and why we're doing this, and a little bit more of a detailed explanation than what we've talked about inside of our private networking group and also on our lives that we're doing in the group. So, for anybody that gets a chance to watch this, welcome. Thank you so much for watching it. Alethea and I started this group with number one, the intention of really bringing in the feminine aspect of networking. And the Pajama and Coffee group is a true, honest networking group. If anybody has noticed in any of our messages or our posts or any of our live conversations, there's been no buy now or jump into this or do that to get the benefit of using this group. And we've been very careful about that because our number one goal has been to help women network. Because as female entrepreneurs, the both of us are right now, our strength is in our collective group. That we have people that are experts in all sorts of areas that we rely on to grow our businesses. And then we actually, by accident, started this group. For anybody that hasn't heard, that Alethea and I, since we've been best friends for 27 years, we don't like the fact that we're not able to see each other regularly, considering I split my time between two different states. And so we started doing virtual coffee. And then that turned into this should be the way that all women get to network in our pajamas. And then it turned into, hey, we could do this. And this would be a really, really an asset to a lot of female entrepreneurs out there. So, welcome. That's how we started out. That's where we're at with this. This is our first episode for the podcast. And again, it's just getting started. So, this is more of just a discussion between us today and who we are, why we're here, our journey. And then we will continue in the future and have some guests as well join us. This is not my first opportunity at podcasting, Alethea's as well. But this is our first time to do a project like this together. And we're really excited, both of us, for that reason, right?
Yes.
And it's really nice. I mean, again, we have 27 years of friendship, and that's part of the reason why we enjoy this. So, to kick off the discussion, and I'm going to throw Lee into the hot seat first, I'd love for you to explain about your why, your journey, and what you're trying to accomplish as a female entrepreneur.
Well, my why is to help other female entrepreneurs and women in general. It started out where I kind of wanted to focus just on, the community of color. But then I decided that I just want to help. And it doesn't matter what your background is. Those are the women who want to be helped or want training or want help. Those are the women that I'm reaching out to. And my expertise is public speaking. So as a young person coming up in our religion, we had to basically create a script. And all we had was a scripture and a setting. And that was it. And the person that we knew was going to be the other person doing this with us, but we had to work on it ourselves. Mm-hmm. So I never even imagined that it would become, part of my actual life and in my career, but it has, because that's what I'm good at. That's the area that I am good in. And I was kind of thinking about it, and what was I thinking about? Anyway, sorry, lost my train of thought.
That's okay. It'll come back to you.
Yeah. So as long as I stop thinking about it, it'll come back. But that those are who I want to reach out to. Though that is what I want to do. And that's what I was going to say. So I have been a procrastinator probably all my life. And when we had to, get up there and give our talk, I would always wait till the last minute to do it. So I kind of got good at doing that kind of stuff on the fly. I mean, once you get a few of them in there, it's kind of easy to kind of fly by the seat of your pants. But anyway, that's what I want to do. I want to be able to help women help them to be able to express themselves, whether it be through business or personal, but just help them to be able to express themselves.
One thing that I remember about that, again, because I grew up in the same way, that one thing I appreciate is that they gave you something different to work on every time.
Right.
And so it sharpened your skill set of being a public speaker, because a lot of people, when you go through public speaking training, it's the emphasis is on the structure of what you're saying. And that's first and foremost very important. But the nuances of public speaking,
Mm-hmm.
and even being aware of what my dad always called word whiskers, where it was the uhs, the ands, the ums, the spaces, things of that nature. I just did one of them.
You're right.
Even those, if you consistently use them, they can actually detract from your message.
Yes.
So I appreciate the fact that we had that aspect of it. But the one that I actually appreciate the most was because of the repetition, it got you through a lot of the nerves. Because after you do it so many times, like you said, once you do it a couple times, you're pretty much, used to the situation. But there's also something to be said about sitting up there waiting those few seconds before you speak that are quite nerve wracking when everybody is staring at you and you can't stare people down.
Right.
You just kind of sit there, and it's like then the overthinking starts. So all of those reasons why I'm very, very grateful. My first public speaking was in 1985, believe it or not. And I was 5, and I was thrown into, you're ready, it's time. That was normal in my household growing up. But because of that, personally, I've even had the opportunities where I've been in trainings for my career where walking to the front of the room, they throw a product at you and say, you've got to talk about it until the timer goes off with no advance warning, no prep time. And I actually can thrive in that environment. And it's only because of the training that we had. And so that's the point, is we have a skill set that not everyone has had the opportunity to develop in the same way. And I do believe it's a very big asset. And to your point, Lee, and why I'm so supportive of your business is I believe that public speaking gives you the ability to be assertive and heard in business meetings. I believe that it gives you the ability to be better at sales closings and also to advance your career if you're looking to do a promotion or things like that, or just even being the lone female voice, which I've been many times sitting in a business meeting where I've been in the minority, being one of the only females, if not the only female in the room. I used to work on a team that was all men. So actually 2 companies. And I didn't shrink, but I was also not loud. I didn't need to. I learned how to be seen and be heard without having to be pitchy in my tone, be louder than anybody, get upset, be emotional. And I'm not saying that all girls are emotional, because I hate when people say that.
You're right.
No, not at all. I hate the perception that because somebody is being assertive, they are emotional.
Exactly.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. So I love the fact that just the skill of public speaking in itself gives us that ability to be seen, heard, and respected. And so I do encourage everyone, if you ever need the opportunity to actually reach out to Lee and do a consultation with her, talk about the event you have coming up, because it's always worth it. And I actually, Lee, I don't know if I told you this, but well, as you know, of course, everybody wouldn't know this, but this, is that my dad was one of our public speaking instructors for most of our lives, among other men and women that helped us and taught us. However, I still to this day will practice public speaking opportunities with my dad before I do it live. And my boyfriend, of course, Nesto, he actually does the same. He'll call my dad and actually go through it with my dad too.
Really?
Yeah. And we do that because by actually practicing it out loud, it's so different than just reading through it. And so it's something that I've continued my entire career to do. So I do thoroughly believe there's a very good place for you as an entrepreneur to help other women And I do love the fact of your why, and your why is driving your company. And
Mhm.
that's exactly what we want to hear. And
Exactly.
so, and you're setting an example for other women too, as they start out in their entrepreneurial education and their path. And the reason why I'm bringing that up is sometimes our why isn't 100% clear with our company. And I'll explain about mine in a second. But the reason why I bring this up is sometimes our why is bigger than the company we have right at the moment.
Hmm.
Yours is.
Yeah.
Your
Yes.
why is huge and it's beautiful and it's poetic and needs to be in this world. But just doing what you're doing right now to set out to start with is nothing compared to what you'll be doing in a year or two or three.
That is my goal.
Yeah, yeah. And like I said, so my why has always been that I want to help other single mothers become free of the stigma of divorce and to be able to reclaim their balance in time and also basically buy back more time with their children. And I struggled with my why for a while, and I'll explain to you why. Is that when I was first starting out and I figured out my very, very clear, definite path that I was placed on to help other single moms, I had a little bit of imposter syndrome because I'm thinking, well, who am I to tell other single moms, well, just get up, you'll be fine, start a business, basically in my head. And I'm like, I don't know if I'm capable of saying that. And one of my very good friends and mentors said to me, she's like, how long have you been a single mom? I said, over 20 years. She said, how long have you been an entrepreneur? I said, almost the same. She said, so why are you doubting that you know what you're talking about? Okay. She said, there is nobody better than the person that's walked the path. And so for you with your public speaking or with myself with being a single mom entrepreneur and providing for my children as an entrepreneur, yeah, we all have expert status and we all need to lean into it.
Yes.
But my point of it was that my why wasn't very apparent at first. And the reason being is because I didn't could not figure out how to correlate helping single mothers with the business that I was building. But what I came to realize was the bigger my sphere of influence is and the bigger my impact is when it comes to social media followings, unfortunately, and again, isn't a vanity project. It is digital real estate for us.
Yes.
And it's not social, it's business, plain and simple for us when we deal with social media in our businesses now. But with that being said, the bigger my digital real estate is, the more I can impact and help other single moms because I have the platform to do it. And so once I wrapped my head around that, it was like, oh, this is a no-brainer. This is okay. It makes sense that it's getting me to that audience. It's going to be
Yes.
getting me there. So I'm very, very happy about that. And as to my entrepreneurial path, it started more than 20 years ago. I was raised by two entrepreneurs, and my parents always encouraged me. It was actually my mom that said I was going to be an entrepreneur. And I never could imagine where it ended up, though. That is for sure. This is definitely not where I saw myself getting to. I always wanted to get to somewhere like this, but I didn't know how. And so now that I have the how and the why, okay, it's growing by the day and it's turning more and more into the vision that I had set out 3 years ago. And it's its own living, breathing organism now. It's not one day I want to. It is, this is what we do. This is how
Mhm.
we help our business partners. This is what we accomplish. And this is our case studies and our history of what we've done for others. That's a big difference. But it takes a lot of time to get there. It really does. And it's not overnight. And like I've talked about in our lives, I've had to tell myself to stop saying next week I won't be as busy because that is all out, bold face lie that I was telling myself. So I had to readjust that one. But we just keep building. And what we do is that we provide, I don't want to say provide the solutions, but we provide the plan, the roadmap between I have an idea or I have a great company, but I want it to be visible online, or I'm not reaching my target audience, or as simple as I might be, I'm a prime example right now. I'm growing my business, but what I really want to do is reach and help and give back. Those are the best ones for me. Those are the best business partners in the world because I love passion projects
Mm-hmm.
and I am very fortunate to work on several of them. So that's what we do, and that is our why. Lee, is there anything else you wanted to add to this, just as a little hello to everyone? And if they went back 4 or 5 episodes and wanted to see the beginning one, this is what they would hear. No pressure. No
Yeah,
pressure.
no.
Okay.
Well, my journey is a little different than I'm gonna call her Marisa. That's not what I usually call
You
her.
never. I was gonna say you might as well give up because you're never gonna call me
I
that.
know because I don't like I have to think about it when I say Marisa. I'm like,
It sounds so weird from you. It's like I
Missy.
actually force myself when I'm talking to other people. I'm like Alethea, and I'm like, it sounds so weird. I've never once in 27 years called you by your first name to
I
your face
know.
ever.
Yeah, yeah. I didn't even think about that.
Mm-mm.
But I'm new, basically. So I've tried a few things back, in the past, but I never had a support system. I've talked about before, getting out of your comfort zone. And so things like this is, I think it's pretty much out of most people's comfort zone.
Yes, you're right.
Yeah. But, I had, that's the reason why my other endeavors didn't really work is because it was out of my comfort zone. So even if I had like some support, I could probably have done it, or at least gone a little bit longer. But I didn't have support and it was way out of my comfort zone and I had no one to encourage me to get out. And so I have learned, my bestest friend in the whole wide world and mentor, business mentor, has taught me that you have to just get out of it. You just have to do it. You seriously do. And I think I remember when my dad taught us how to swim. I mean, you're basically thrown in the deep end and you got to figure out how to keep your head above water.
Yeah.
And it might sound bad, but that's how it works. And I mean, I've even in like secular, in my secular career, most of the jobs I had, that's what it is. You get very little training, very little. And you're basically just, thrown into the deep end and you got to swim or you sink. Mm-hmm. So I've learned how to swim. So being an entrepreneur, not easy. Mm-mm. It takes a lot of time.
It takes a lot of bandwidth mentally too.
Yes. Not in time as in minutes and hours, but also time as in months and years. When you start a business, it doesn't sprout up overnight. It takes time, it takes hard work. And so I am learning that. And the funny thing is it's fun. And because we both have a why that we're passionate about, that's what drives us forward. And it's not, it's not any financial gains that we'll get from it. That's kind of like a bonus. Yes. But it's being able to help the people that we want to help and being able to make a positive impact on the world. That is our main reason for doing what we do.
I'd also add the word satisfied, like satisfaction, because it gives you a real satisfaction of knowing that you are able to bring something together that's going to help create more stability for a company, for your clients, business partners, but also for your own company, like knowing that you're building something of value that can shape the outcome of your family and the employees you have and be able to create a healthy environment, unlike what they probably have been, hopefully not, but probably had been a part of in the past when it comes to their careers. And so there's also a very big difference between being like the founder and the startup and then being a part of the corporate environment that it becomes so different, and it's so interesting when you go through that transition too. I was just having a conversation with somebody about that earlier today about how he's looking up and now all of a sudden he's going to have like 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 people on his team. And he's been working like 16-hour days to get there. And I'm like, yes, I know. When I started my first year of doing this, Lee can tell you, is that I was doing this, 18 hours every day, pretty much
Yeah.
7 days a week. And I'm not that far behind. I'm not at 18 hours a day now because of trying to balance everything in several business ventures. But it's very time consuming. And, I absolutely hate when my boyfriend says to me that, well, you just need to prioritize your list. And yes, I'm telling on him, but I'm going to for a minute because there's a point to it. And it's always when I'm stressed. Like he'll say to me, he's like, "Well, you just, babe, need to prioritize your list," and it just at the moment doesn't sit well. And I've told him, "Would you please?" I didn't say anything at the time, but I said something later. I'm like, "Can you just do me a really big favor?" And he's like, "What?" I'm like,
Don't say that
when
anymore.
I'm stressed, saying that just it doesn't help me. Maybe it's me. In fact, I know it's me. But can you please at that moment just not say it?
Hmm.
And he's like, okay, fair. He's like, if it makes it worse, I will do my best not to say it. I said, thank you. Well, today I made the comment to him. I said, well, since we added a new project onto our plate this week, I said, we just need to prioritize our time and really assess where our time is going to. And he just gave me this smile. He goes, like I've been saying to you. He's right.
Maybe.
I had nothing. Like, you're right. You're right.
Yeah.
Got nothing. But it's
Oh,
true, though.
no.
My point wasn't quite as literal as his, but he was absolutely right. My point was is though when you add a new project as an entrepreneur, you have to sit down with your entire calendar and be like, okay,
Hmm.
what's going to get a little less for the next couple weeks, month, or 3 months if we're going to make this a priority. So I believe that's part of it too, is the accountability aspect to your
Hmm.
own calendar. I'm very, it's so funny because people always say, well, you're always a planner. You plan so far ahead. I'm like, you understand, I've been an entrepreneur for so long. If I don't put something in my calendar for 6 months from now, things will creep up and it won't
Yeah.
happen.
Hmm.
And so I'm very, very conscious of my calendar at all times. But like this, adding a new project this week was a lot, but it's not a bad thing. It's a great thing. It's a great project. We feel 100% on this,
Hmm.
what the time has to be accounted for and allotted. So that's my priority today, is looking through my calendar and seeing what I need to do. I'm going to have to probably readjust, go to bed a little earlier, get up a little earlier so that I can work when my phone isn't as busy, even more so now, things like that. So that has to be done too.
Yep.
But that was what we wanted to talk about this first time. It was just our whys and who we are as entrepreneurs. And we are going to, like I said, going to be doing this and putting these out once a week. They will be going out inside of the Facebook group, on our YouTube page as our channel as well. And then also we will be having some amazing guests. We have about 3 or 4 already lined up for the first couple episodes. You will be seeing episodes though where it's just the two of us talking as well, just like these kind of conversations, about 25, 30 minutes. But mostly we're going to be interviewing other female entrepreneurs to learn from them for ourselves and to talk about what are their challenges they're overcoming, their accomplishments, and also how could we all support each other? What would they need to be supported, felt, heard, and then again, everything has to be win-win. So for anybody that needs the help, it's a two-way street. So for anybody and everybody in our lovely group, our networking group, this is all for them, for all for you.
Yes.
Lee, do you want to close it out and say anything else?
Well, thank you for sticking with us for about 25 minutes. And we love this platform and look forward to having more discussions. I definitely look forward to interviewing, other entrepreneurs, female entrepreneurs. So I'm looking forward to that. And we're just going to keep this thing going. And it's always going to be of value. So don't ever think that, we're just on here talking, gabbing. It's valuable time. And so thank you for taking out time of your day to
Yes,
listen to us.
yes. And we hope that we can always bring that value to everybody.
Yes. Yes.
That's our goal. So thank you so much. And these will, like I said, this will be going live every Tuesday on the Facebook page as well. And then episodes will be added weekly. So we'll see you back here soon.
Yep. All right. Bye, everybody.